is a lot of political chatter that Tony Blair, former Prime Minister, of course, is set to meet the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss what's going on in the Middle East. And why not, may you say, but a lot of people think why at all in the first place.
Well, according to sources, Number 10 has given Blair unofficial permission to hold these talks, as the pair have known each other for over 25 years.
So it's likely to centre around a potential ceasefire between Israel and Gaza. But here's the question we're asking, should former politicians still be involved? Should they be getting involved in current-day politics? Well, in the studio to discuss all of that, we've got Simon Danzic and Alexander Armstrong to discuss this. So, Simon, where do you stand on this?
Yeah, I think we should make full use of senior former politicians like Tony Blair. He has a lot to offer, and there's no doubt about it, he's made mistakes in his career, but I think that adds to the fact that he can be wise counsel, whether that's to Sunak or to Benjamin Netanyahu. He knows the Middle East particularly well. He's not encumbered by being in government, by, all the other decisions that he has to make. So I think he can make a really important, positive contribution to this issue.
But it's highly likely, as we were reporting there, that he has gone to Number 10 and he was saying, look, I can help you out here, this could be a good idea, and he would get an unofficial sanctioning from them.
Yes, and though he doesn't need it, does he? Tony Blair can almost go anywhere. Yeah. As you pointed out, he's known Netanyahu for 20, 25 years. Tony Blair is a significant player on the international stage and will always be listened to. And he is very wise counsel. And Netanyahu, irrespective of Britain's position, Netanyahu will want to meet him and hear what he has to say.
Yeah, OK. What's the problem, Alex?
Well, I think the public should be deeply worried by this. We keep seeing old politicians who are no longer elected or accountable by the public being dragged up into daily political life. And quite frankly, in the case of Blair, I don't know who the hell thinks Tony Blair's a good choice to solve any peace crisis in the Middle East. But frankly, this really comes down to public accountability and transparency. No one really knows what Tony Blair's views are on this, and who knows what he's going to say behind closed doors. We have ministers, we have foreign secretaries, we even have royals, heads of state, who are here to do this job, and they're paid by the taxpayer to do it.
But Alex, just being crude about it, we lack big hitters, we lack names, we lack star quality.
Well, maybe we do, but if that's what the political stage is all about, then I think there's something, frankly, quite wrong with that. I think this should be about policy, this should be about where Britain stands on these issues. And frankly, we have elected members of Parliament and secretaries of state whose job is to go and do this on behalf of Britain.
But if it stands on policy, isn't there something to be said for friendship, for 25 years' worth of connection between these two? Sure,
but frankly, the British public, I don't think, are going to be very happy seeing someone like Tony Blair, who is not accountable or elected by them, in order to do this job.
This is a really complex problem in the Middle East. And what I've always found is that politicians, current politicians, appreciate listening to former politicians, because all the special advisors, all the civil servants have never been politicians. And the reality is that politicians, former politicians, have worn the T-shirt. They know what it's like. And so talking to current politicians makes a big difference. They speak the same language, and that counts for a heck of a lot. Netanyahu will listen to Tony Blair because he knows that Tony Blair has been through Iraq, he's been through multiple different issues over the years, and that counts for a lot.
Simon, why can't...
And it doesn't matter what we think of Tony Blair, or whether he's, earning money in the private sector. It's how do we come up with a solution to this problem? That's the key issue. That's what we should have at the forefront of our mind.
But Simon, why can't Tony Blair go with the Foreign Secretary? Why can't he go with a minister? Can't he go with someone that's going to hold him accountable? That the public, at the end of the day, when it comes to committees, whether if there's an inquiry or...
I'll tell you why, Alex, because the officials and the ministers don't want to be held accountable. They want Blair will have a secret message, off you go, say this, say that, and it keeps us out of it, it keeps us at arm's distance.
But don't you think that's a problem, Eamon? Don't you see that's a really big problem, that we've got these backdoor channels that nobody's going to say, what did Blair actually say?
Yeah. Well, this has always gone on, whether it's Henry Kissinger going to China on behalf of the US president. These things always go on, and it's a way to solve a particular problem. The other significant issue is that, the Foreign Secretary and the Prime Minister are busy doing other things. You know, they're running the country, they're dealing with other international issues. Tony Blair is solely focused at this moment in time on the Middle East, and we should appreciate that.
OK. Appreciate your company, both of you. Simon Danzic and Alex Armstrong, thank you both very much indeed. I wish we had longer.